Welcome, ready-made Martians, to Geek Salad's retro reviews from the Geek Salad podcast. I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
I'm Todd.
And tonight, we're going to take a break from regular movies because this week has kind of been something.
Yes.
You're right about that. Ooh. Did we tell a Suncoast story? Did I miss it?
No.
Oh,
No.
Oh, just regular drinking.
I'm just regular
regular drinking.
Dealing with everything right now. So originally we were planning on maybe giving that tribute to Sean Connery's James Bond movies, which I think was the original thing. And it's like we need to lighten the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
And so Mike had recommended that perhaps we take a moment and think about next week's show on our actual podcast, where we're going to be discussing the Warner Brothers animation of Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies and
Tiny Toons, Animaniacs,
and Tiny Toons. And we're going to take all that, and Todd, Mike, and I are going to discuss. We each picked one Looney Tunes episode that appears on HBO Max. And we are going to discuss those episodes. So who wants to go first?
Let's go chronologically.
Yeah. In which case, Todd, you're first.
That would be me. I didn't even plan that. I just thought chronological, It's funny scrolling through HBO Max and seeing those. I think it's funny that they have them grouped into seasons.
Yeah.
I just didn't know where any of the episodes were because I know kind of the era where I'm looking. It's probably late 40s to early 60s. That's my golden era for Looney Tunes. So it was really interesting to see the first 6 seasons. They're all the black and white shorts where Porky Pig looks way different and Bugs is a little freaky looking. So
and Elmer Fudd is like a potato.
It's so weird. It's so weird. But they're still very good, and I would recommend that people take a look at them because they definitely serve a purpose to set up what I love in that kind of golden era. My choice is from 1946. It is Baseball Bugs, which I think I've seen probably hundreds of times. It's a really classic post-war Bugs Bunny cartoon. He's snarky and he's a shit in this one, and it's so good because the Gas House Gorillas are the villainous baseball team, and they're just bullies. They're beating up the teetotalers, and this is after Prohibition, so I thought that was pretty funny too. And Bugs is in the game, and it's that crazy slow pitch. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're up. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're up. Classic stuff. I really love when Bugs throws the fastball and he's also the catcher and he gets knocked into the stands and he's like, attaboy. It's a classic Bugs cartoon, and the animation is great. Friz Freleng is one of my favorite Looney Tunes directors, and I just going back and watching these and seeing Mel Blanc get pretty much bottom billing in all of the credits is mind-blowing to me, because Looney Tunes wouldn't be anything without Mel Blanc. It would just be, cute animal cartoons. Mel Blanc is what makes Looney Tunes stand out from Disney shorts for me, because he's so good. Yeah. And there's no exception.
Well, considering that he did the voice of Bugs Bunny until the day he died. That was over 50 years of this consistent voice. So very unlike Mickey Mouse, who went through various voices throughout the shorts. Walt started first, and then people just took over, and other people took over after that. I remember that one a lot because playing Little League baseball, I would always assume that's just how I could play.
Yeah, you wind up. Yeah, that's what it was. And it's funny, Andy, and Mike, maybe Mike too. I don't know if you're a baseball fan at all. When the Red Sox signed Daisuke Matsuzaka, and he had the famous gyro ball,
Yes.
All I would think about is Bugs Bunny's changeup. And they even in sports, they even call it a Bugs Bunny changeup. That's how pervasive this episode, this short is in sports still today, 75 years later. It's amazing.
It is. It is. It is really. It's always fun too because the differences between the two teams. Mm-hmm. You know, you've got the big team and you got the skinny team.
Yep.
Very similar to like the goofy
3.5 years old. Like it's great.
Yeah.
And then the whole sequence where the gorillas, he takes a tree and he's swinging the tree, and the animation on that when he's swinging the tree is brilliant. Like I don't know how they were able to do that in 1946, but it's awesome. And then he's in the cab and he's on the bus and he goes up to the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah,
so
it is.
Letting me do it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I really enjoy that one. I guess I'm next then because I'm 1949. Bowery Bugs, and this one caught my eye for so many reasons. First of all, it's just like the tile on HBO Max was Bugs Bunny with like a little bowler hat, and this other guy. I think his name is Steve Brody. To pull up the name here because it's actually The Tale of Steve Brody, who was just like one of those like mid-19th century New York guys with a tiny bowler hat and the huge walrus mustache and the tight turtleneck sweater. And he's like, he's all built up from the top. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to watch this one. And it has all of the hallmarks of Bugs Bunny being not a shit, but a stinker. Ain't he a stinker?
He's a dick.
He's a dick, yeah. That is very different from how Mickey Mouse is portrayed.
Yes.
But I feel like with this one, it's crazy because they hit all the notes. Steve Brody is a down on his luck guy who thinks that if he has a rabbit's foot, his luck will improve. And Bugs Bunny does a great thing about how he's had the feet all his life, and that he's still got to worry about hunters and predators and Hassenpfeffer. You think these feet brought me any luck? Which actually is interesting because there's a later episode, I think it's a Chuck Jones episode, where the king wants Hassenpfeffer. It includes rabbit. Mm-hmm. But
I think that's a Sam, Yosemite Sam. Because it sounds like
Sam is instructed to go get the rabbit.
Yeah, go get the Hassenpfeffer.
Yosemite. But the episode is it's hilarious because, well, first of all, Steve Brody is just like the most offensive Irish stereotype of that era.
But he's not Irish, though. He doesn't speak with the Irish accent.
Oh, did you watch it? Because he totally
had that
accent. I had my headphones on when I was watching it.
Oh.
And oh boy.
Yeah, and that's really one of the things you have to remember when watching old Looney Tunes shorts is some of them are very, very, very offensive.
Oh, yeah.
This one, obviously isn't as offensive as some of the other stereotypes they portray, but it's so much at that. I think it was the third Golden Collection DVD set, and they have Whoopi Goldberg introduce the DVD set saying, "This is history. We're not going to alter this because we need to learn from it." But some of these things are terrible.
Oh yeah.
And aside from the portrayal of the Irish, mid-19th century Irish person in this, it's a pretty dark episode when you really think about it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it is.
I'm like, oh my God. I'd never seen it before, so it was...
Bugs literally drives the guy crazy, and he's telling the story about how he drove him to suicide.
Yeah, pretty much. But they hit all the marks, though. Bugs dresses up as a fortune teller, and you want your palm red? And he paints it palm red.
Paints it red.
I'm going to count the lumps on your head. I don't have any lumps on my head. Wham, 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 wham. And it's so funny because there's just so much wordplay, I need some luck so I can get some dough. Oh, you want dough? Why didn't you say so? And he takes him to a bakery and
bakes him into a pie.
Yeah. But what made me laugh the hardest, though, was the very end of the short where essentially Bugs is, modern day, telling the story and selling the Brooklyn Bridge to somebody.
Perfect.
Yeah. Oh, it was such a great way of wrapping up that type of episode. It was really a lot of fun.
I agree, and I'm happy I saw it. I'd never seen that one before.
Yeah, I'm sure I had seen it at some point because the palm reddening.
That stuck with you.
That has stuck with me since I was a kid. But yeah, that one I had to have seen this one before. But now I'm older and I'm like, oh wow, the Irish bashing on this one.
Yeah, I've just been watching the Tri Channel a lot, so I can hear. I've heard authentic Irish accent a lot more. So maybe it threw me off.
Okay, it is light.
Yeah.
So all right, Mike, you're up. Yes.
Yeah, mine is. When was the date on this one? This one was 1958. Hare-Way to the Stars. This one was, I want to say it's like the third or the fourth one with Marvin the Martian. And basically, Bugs Bunny, he mixes, he's hungover from mixing carrot juice and radish juice.
Which is what you drank during the drunk history episode, right, Andy?
Yes, that is exactly what I drank.
Okay, good. Very good.
I too woke up to find myself on a rocket ship.
So he's climbing up the conveniently placed rocket that goes right over his hole, crawls right up there, just as they launch it. And as he's peeking out the top to look around and see where the hell he was, a satellite grabs him and whips him off to the floating platforms of Mars, where Marvin the Martian is right about to blow up the Earth because it's obscuring his view of Venus. So and this is the one where I've heard like the first Marvin the Martian one, and then this one, and Mel Blanc does a very different voice for Marvin the Martian in the two. The first one is very kind of like a high pitched, like and nasally.
Yeah.
And this one he's more. It's hard to describe.
He's more. I would say it's a little more dignified and a little more regal.
Yeah, but at the same time, still kind of nebbish almost.
He's still nebbishy, yeah. But I mean, Marvin the Martian is one of the easiest of all the Looney Tunes voices to do. Because I remember when we were doing Jesus Christ Superstar, and this is almost 30 years ago. We had the Roman helmets, we had like the Roman skirts, and I managed to get one to kind of sit up a little bit. And I put the helmet on. I walked up to Jim and I went, "I'm going to blow up the Earth."
Because he's going to blow up the Earth with his Iridium Q-36
space modulator.
Yeah, and then of course Bugs he was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "What are you gonna do?" "All right, well, what?" He comes back and steals the Iridium Q-36 quantum space modulator. And then it gets to my favorite Marvin the Martian line of all time. "Where's the kaboom? There's supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom!" And he sees Bugs running off with it, and since he puts his little his instant Martians, just add water.
Yeah.
Love
just sends them off, and the rest of the episode is just Bugs very easily, handily outwitting the little automatic Martians.
Yep.
And then he steals he gives Marvin the lit space modulator back, which of course explodes. While he steals all the instant space Martians, gets back to Earth, accidentally drops them in the sewers, and then runs off after telling everybody, "You're going to be up to your armpits, Martians."
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, I think, the shortest one of all three of them. I think both of yours are like about 7 or 8. This one's like about 6.5.
Yeah.
But
it's funny too. Going back, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say that it's just funny too because I always remember these being somewhat longer.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because as a child they didn't have the benefit of a time scroll, like a time signature on them.
Yeah.
So here's a question. How did we watch these? Like, these were in blocks on some channel, right? Like, I don't have any recollection of how we watched these as children. And
when I was a kid, speaking as the oldest out of all of us here, when I was a kid, most of my Looney Tunes were Saturday morning. I would always get on some of the UHF channels, like in the afternoon, like around 2 or 3 in the afternoon after school, I get the really old Bugs Bunnies. Like the first, 5 seasons worth of Weird Looking Elmer Fudd and stuff that was very much made to be the short in front of somebody else's movie.
Yeah. Back when Daffy was just was actually Daffy and not just kind of mean-spirited.
Right, exactly.
I love mean-spirited Daffy. I love mean-spirited Daffy. He's so good.
Oh, I watched
so good.
right before we did this, I watched Duck Amuck.
Perfect.
Such a great one.
Yep. And right before yours was Robin Hood Daffy Robin Hood.
That was really good.
With Porky Pig Friar Tuck. It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, continue.
Saturday morning cartoons is really how I started watching these, and it was just these randomized blocks. Most of it was the Fritz Freleng stuff. It was very rare that I would actually see a Chuck Jones one. And I don't know. I think the Fritz Freleng stuff is really the stuff that I glommed onto a little more. Just in terms of the animation. Chuck Jones' animation is very, very. You're looking at Chuck Jones animation when you're seeing it. Whereas the Freleng stuff is, I don't know. It's just there's something about it. There's something that's got a little more. Like Todd, you had mentioned about like the gorilla swinging the tree and just that motion. And just like
it's very smooth, and I watch it. I had never seen this one, Mike, and I'm going to be honest with you. Marvin the Martian was never one of my favorites. I know that's shocking. I feel like I never saw the Marvin the Martian shorts. I was always Wile E. Coyote, Bugs, Daffy, that was it. Especially Wile E. Coyote Genius when he could talk, which was amazing.
I think those are the Chuck Jones ones. I think the Chuck Jones one are ones that actually spoke.
One of the things that struck me about this, and I had seen a lot of the space themed episodes like Duck Dodgers and stuff like that. Was Duck Dodgers Chuck Jones too?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I feel like it's like the outer space stuff is beautiful. The animation is gorgeous. Even with this weird Martian platform thing, it's still beautiful animation. And you're right, though, Andy. I think there is a difference in animation style between the two directors.
Right.
There's almost a kind of like a quasi sense of realism to Fritz Freleng stuff, whereas Chuck Jones is very much animated. It very much has an more animation feel.
I do remember that with Chuck Jones, like the features are a little more pronounced.
Yeah. Like
humans have longer faces, longer like profiles than the Fritz Freleng stuff. But the design of the gorilla, by the way, in Bowery Bugs, the bouncer.
Oh yeah, the bouncer.
Steve, we're gonna have to ask you to leave. Bouncer comes up and it's just the jacked gorilla with these 2 huge fangs. I think that garnered the second largest laugh while I was watching it.
Then it's just outside and then poof.
That could have played into Roger Rabbit too. You never know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's true. Nice monkey suit. Wise ass. I really had a good time watching these, and I'm looking forward to our discussion next week when we talk more about not only Looney Tunes, but about some of the other animation stuff that they had spawned.
Actually, I watched the first episode of Tiny Toons actually for the first time, like last night or the night before. I hadn't really remembered how kind of plot driven it was.
Yeah, same. I saw that within the last week.
It's kind of I feel almost Animaniacs is almost more of a spiritual successor to Looney Tunes than Tiny Toons is, because Tiny Toons is like crazy things happening to further the plot. Animaniacs and Looney Tunes, it was more the plot is there in order to have wacky things happen.
Yeah, Animaniacs are more like vignettes than Tiny Toons trying to tie. Oh, we have a villain. It's Montana Max, and we're going to put him in everything.
Yeah.
It feels, and I completely forgot about that. I don't know if I'd ever seen the pilot of Tiny Toons until a few weeks ago, and I watched it with Lily. So it was eye opening.
Where is Tiny Toons? Because I know like Animaniacs is on Netflix, right?
No. Animaniacs and Tiny Toons are both on Hulu.
Okay. Good to know. Because after I'm done here, my daughter will probably still be up, and I'm gonna need to watch some.
Also, I believe Bab's voice is also Dot. I believe they're both Tress McNeil.
Yeah.
Okay. How interesting, because Tress McNeil is also a Simpsons voice.
It is weird seeing when I watched the trailer for the new season of Animaniacs. It was weird to hearing Tress McNeil because her voice is a little bit deeper now.
Yeah,
noticeably deeper than it was when she did Dot.
30 years have passed.
Yeah,
or almost
27.
Yeah, okay. Still, that's almost 30. It's closer to 30 than it is 20.
Yeah, very true.
Oh, is that rounding? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's. I count good.
You count like Nevada.
I do. The 12th. We're gonna know by the 12th, apparently, because this nightmare can't last long enough.
All right, you know what? I'm done. I'm gonna have to take a nap. Sorry.
The place in the country known for numbers and counting things. Let's go. Come on.
Right.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Oh my God!
Anybody trying to cheat him this time? Well, wait, hold on.
Numbers, counting things, and staying up late. Let's do this.
That's true. That's what's
wrong with you.
Nevada's known for.
But before we get too political here.
Yes, exactly. So, wow, I think this might actually be one of the shortest reviews we've ever done. Mainly because
some more.
We could watch more, but I really think though we want to hold this off and make this more of a taste of what you're going to get when episode 202 launches. We're recording next week, which means that maybe a week or so after that we will have the episode out, and we're going to have so much fun discussing Looney Tunes, Tiny Toons, Animaniacs. God knows we'll probably have to talk about Space Jam, won't we, Todd?
Oh yeah, Quackbusters too. Don't forget about Quackbusters.
Okay, yeah. I'll have to find Quackbusters.
Yeah, it's not on HBO Max.
It's just about to look.
Okay.
Yeah,
we can even talk about that weird new Bugs Bunny cartoon that's out that really seems like it's a kind of a ripoff of the Paul Rudish Mickey Mouse cartoons.
I got my Sylvester right here.
Hey.
I need you. Hi.
This is pretty cool.
The only thing, one of the episodes I was going to watch until I watched Bowery Bugs was one, I don't remember the name of it, but it was the one where Bugs was messing with the opera singer.
Oh, yes.
I
think that also might be, it's either 13 or 14. It's season 13 or 14.
It seems like around like 13 and 14, that's where they really started hitting their mark.
Well, that's really the stuff, that I remember. But he dressed up as the great composer Leopold.
Yes, long-haired hair.
Long-haired hair.
Season 14, so same one as Bowery Bugs, and it was episode 15 there.
Okay.
Nice.
But the whole thing about alum, I always thought that alum was going to be a bigger problem in my life.
Yeah, right. I was actually
like their heads would shrink.
Yeah. Oh man. Never seen it in real life. Just like quicksand.
Yeah.
It's so funny to see that, like, even like back in like the 40s, Warner Brothers was still kind of like taking a few digs at Disney, because I watched one a couple of nights last night, I think, or maybe the night before, where it is. I mean, it's only like 7 minutes long, but it is absolutely a parody of Fantasia. It was like 1943. It was like crazy, it's like I can't remember what the title of it was, but it came out like 3 years after Fantasia, and it's just the 7 like 8 minute short is just 2 segments Each one completely set to an instrumental. There's no vocals in it. First one is Bugs messing with someone, and the other one is a duck trying to get in good with some swan, a little baby duck trying to get in good with some swans, and the mother's having none of it until the duck saves the baby swans from a vulture.
Oh my!
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, both of them are just set to classical music.
Huh. It's either a dig or an homage, a loving homage.
There's a rivalry for sure.
Actually, I texted it to you guys.
You did. Let me.
It was a Corny Concerto, 1943.
Concerto.
Yes.
Be sure to check it out.
Yeah, I see it right there. Yep, 1943. Yep. So what's your favorite of the Looney Tunes cartoons? Primarily like the Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig type of stuff. Leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Give us a big thumbs up as well. Share this video. Let your friends know about it. Follow us on our social media platforms. We are most active on Twitter at Geek Salad Radio. We're also on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast. Check out the podcast that me, Mike, and Todd host. Geek Salad, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts and a full archive at geeksalad.podbean.com. Next week, perhaps, we'll talk Bond. Just a retrospecticus. I don't feel like we need to discuss one particular movie. I think we should just do
all of the Sean Connerys.
Connery lot, yep.
The best one. Well, I think he's my favorite Bond.
It's I'm going to have to defer that till next week. So,
but never say never again. Okay,
never say so. So anyway, until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
I'm Todd.
Go forth, be nerdful, and we'll talk to you later. Have